Whether you operate one forklift or thousands, one location or hundreds, the new My Toyota customer portal can help you optimize your operation and material handling equipment. This one-stop, free-to-use platform is designed to help you take control of your information and make smarter decisions, all at the touch of a button. Register and access your data today at my.toyotaforklift.com. That's my.toyotaforklift.com.
The New Warehouse Podcast, hosted by Kevin Lawton, is your source for insights and ideas from the distribution, transportation, and logistics industry. A new episode every Monday morning brings you the latest from industry experts and thought leaders. And now, here's Kevin.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton. I'm here at ProMat 2019 for the New Warehouse Podcast, and I am at Enersys booth, and we're going to talk with Harold. Harold's going to tell us all about Enersys and what they do. Harold, thanks so much for talking with us.
Thank you. Glad to be here with you this morning.
Definitely happy to have you. So why don't you tell us about what is Enersys and what does Enersys do?
Well, Enersys is the world's largest industrial battery company, and we make batteries and chargers and systems for electric vehicles, electric lift trucks, and that's in the motive power space. But we also have business in the reserve power, so telecommunications, UPS, and standby. We're in aerospace and defense. We even make batteries for medical devices and whatnot. So we're a very diversified battery company in multiple chemistries globally. Fun place to work.
Fun place to work.
Yeah, because it's exciting. We have all kinds of stuff going on.
Yes, lots of power. Right?
Yeah, definitely lots of power. Yeah, that's exactly right.
Good. So batteries for forklifts and stuff. Obviously, we're here at ProMat, so we're talking about logistics and distribution.
Yeah, we are. Material handling.
Yes.
Good. ProMat's actually the largest material handling show in North America, and this has been a fantastic show this year.
Really? So you guys are seeing good turnout at the booth?
Huge. And MHI, the trade association that we all belong to that puts ProMat together, has told us that they've seen hotel bookings for this show up 30% this year over previous shows. So it's probably going to set attendance records. It's been a great show. We've had great booth traffic.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I had a hard time finding a place to sit actually myself. So,
right. Yeah. You shouldn't be sitting at a trade show. No sitting. No.
So why don't you tell us a little bit, I guess, what are you guys exhibiting here this year?
So our focus this year is on the products that we have. Well, we have some that are out and some that are coming out, but really it's the trend that we're seeing in the industry to more maintenance-free power sources. So, traditionally in fork truck batteries, it's been a flooded lead acid technology, flooded lead acid battery technology that requires some maintenance, rewatering, watering the batteries, changing batteries when you need to charge them. And typically in a fork truck application, you're going to do an 8-hour charge, an 8-hour use, 8-hour charge, and then an 8-hour cool down or rest. And that's expensive. But it's worked for the last 85 to 100 years. And what we're seeing now is the trend more towards low maintenance and no maintenance products that don't require changing, that don't require watering, that don't require some of the maintenance and service that traditionally we've had to do. And that goes part of the technology. And those flooded lead acid batteries, and they are very reliable. We still continue to make them and support them, but we're seeing the trend towards these no maintenance products because that's what customers are asking for. Right? They want to focus on what they need to do. If you're a distribution center, you want to move pallets and products to customers. Yes. You don't want to have to be maintaining your battery. And so often what we do in the industrial world is informed by our commercial consumer world. And I remember my dad adding water to his car battery when I was a young kid, but seeing that, I'd never done it. And certainly it's been years since he's done it. And I think that's typical, right? You forget about your car battery. But in this world, in the motive handling, the material handling motive power world, you see a lot of that. So about 6-7 years ago, we came out with a thin plate pure lead product. And it's a maintenance-free lead acid technology, but it's a more advanced chemistry and a more advanced design, and it requires no maintenance, and we can get maintenance-free performance with fast recharge, high-power discharge, no battery changing, and we've been advancing that technology through the years. What we debuted at our show this year is an advanced carbon additive that we're going to put on into that product that will get us cycle life and amp hour throughput that's equivalent or better than a flooded technology. So, and that's, the standard we compare to is flooded lead acid. That's what we all compare to. So that's one of the things we saw. And then our other big debut is our lithium product that we'll have coming out towards the end of this year, actually the fourth quarter of this year. And you're seeing a lot of lithium in this show, right? A lot of lithium.
That's the new thing.
Yeah, right? It's the new thing, right? And again, it's hey, we want to get out of maintaining our batteries. We don't want to do all this stuff. We want a battery that you can just rapidly recharge, that'll last the life of the truck, that gives us high power. And so we've got that on display here. And, the way Enersys is going to go with this is really we're looking at an experience for those users of our products, which is let's put the right product for your application. Because lithium's a wonderful technology, and I think we're going to see that really advance. I think you'll see it really predominate in the automotive world over time in the next 3 to 5 years, and especially as car vehicles, internal combustion engine car vehicles will probably go to a 48-volt infrastructure. That'll most likely be lithium, which will then drive economies of scale. So you'll see that drive the whole lithium thing. I think that will also help with lead pricing. You'll probably see a reaction of, okay, we've got all these lead acid batteries sitting around that are fully recyclable, 99% recyclable. That'll probably drop the price of lead over time, and you'll see those become more affordable. So what we want to offer our customers is this experience that says, hey, look, let us get you an experience that doesn't require you to change a battery, that doesn't require you to water a battery, that doesn't require you to service that battery, but that battery is there for you for your needs. You rapidly recharge it, you charge it on breaks and at lunches, and you don't have to change it, you don't have to do any maintenance, but it's there. You kind of forget about it. Oh, I really want that experience. That's great. Well, why don't we take a look at what your applications look like, and we'll recommend a Nexus. Nexus is what we are branding this experience for our batteries.
Yeah, I was going to ask you what is Nexus.
Nexus is what we're calling intelligent, flexible power, and it's really the experience we want to offer you. And you notice all of that stuff I talked to you, I didn't talk chemistry. I didn't say, well, I want to give you a lithium-ion solution here or a lead-acid thin plate pure lead solution. We really wanted to talk to you about, well, how do you use these batteries?
And how do you benefit?
How do you benefit from them? And where do you want to put your money? Because lithium is a wonderful technology, but it's expensive. Thin plate pure lead is also a wonderful technology. It's about half the price. Still more money than flooded.
Yeah.
But you're also not paying for maintenance or maintenance tools and for changing. The negative is probably too strong a term. These products, though, have limitations depending on how you want to use them. So a thin plate pure lead product is really a light to medium duty application. A lithium product really thrives in a heavy duty, medium to heavy duty application. Both do very well in a partial state of charge. I don't need to fully discharge it or fully recharge it and worry or manage that charge like I had to do on a flooded product.
Yeah.
But with these products paired with the right charger and communicating battery to charger, you can really control your charge and make sure that you charge each correctly. So with that said, you really can get a very common experience. Then you can dial in the battery, the technology, the chemistry, if you will, that's appropriate for how much you want to spend for that application. So let me look at it this way. I've got a Class 3 pallet jack in my distribution center, and then I've got a really heavy-duty reach truck. I may want to put lithium in that heavy-duty application, in that Class 1 vehicle, and spend the money on it because I need to get full depth of discharge. I really don't have time to recharge the battery. So with a lithium, I can charge at a higher rate. I get a longer runtime, and that's what I want to do. With thin plate pure lead, I get a 60% depth of discharge window, but I can rapidly recharge. And both you can recharge a lot, but I don't need to spend quite as much because I don't really need all of that extra runtime. I've got enough breaks, and I can actually get in a total cost of ownership that is less than if I just decided I want to do lithium everywhere.
Yeah.
So we bring this sort of chemistry agnostic approach to the market because we have two very viable technologies that deliver the same experience, but with a different price point, a little bit different usage rate, and a little bit different life expectancy. But again, you're going to, the costs and the price that you pay will help with that. Now, we tend to do, that sounds like that could be a complicated way to get into it, but we do something. We have a program called Insight that we use to model it. So we'll sit down. We have the chargers in the thing, we have the batteries in the system. We know what your truck will need from electrical power draw. But then we want to sit down and talk with the customer. Okay, well, how are you going to use these? How often can you brake? How often can you recharge? We model all that in, and it gives us these outputs that show us how the battery will perform for the day, for the shift. And we can model growth, we can model decline, and really work on it. No, we don't ever want to model decline. No. But we can add that stuff in. So it really gives you not so much a back of the envelope, let me sit down over a coffee or a beer with you and figure that out. We're actually going to put some science and math behind that. Okay. The other thing that's cool about our chargers is they will work with both technologies. The battery, it's funny, for so long, the lead acid battery, it's kind of been, the thing that's there, but the charger's been smarter. And that changes today, right? In the lithium world, the battery is the smartest thing. It communicates with the charger. It tells the charger what it needs. And we're going to have that same experience with our Nexus Pure, our thin plate pure lead product, where they're communicating constantly with the charger. They're also communicating with the truck. You're seeing more and more CAN-based infrastructure on trucks, and we'll tie into that with the battery as well, so that they're talking back and forth. And that's critical with lithium ion, and it's very important with the thin plate pure lead product. So we want to just, again, common experience, that Nexus experience, whether I'm using Nexus Pure or Nexus Ion, I'm still having that communication. But the charger will work on both, and it'll communicate with the charger to say, okay, hey, I know if I'm plugged into a lithium ion, a Nexus Ion battery, I need to charge it appropriately. If I'm plugged into a Nexus Pure, our thin plate pure lead product, I want to charge that appropriately. So, and that's been something that's really resonated here, because customers don't want to deal with that. They just, I want to plug it in, I want to forget it, I want to go. Other thing we showed was our wireless charger concept. So we'll be launching that about this time next year. Inductive charging or wireless charging. And, if you have an electric toothbrush, you're using the same thing. I have an induction cooktop at home. My wife picked it out. It's phenomenal. We've had it for 7 or 8 years. But it's electromagnetism, right? You're inducing in my cooktops, I'm exciting the electrons electromagnetically. In this, what we're doing is I'm realizing I'm pointing with my hands, and this is an audience that can't see that.
That's okay. We're going to grab some photos and
stuff. Oh, cool. So inductive charging or wireless charging, you have a transmitting coil and a receiving coil. And the transmitting coil is buried into the floor of your parking area at the distribution center. Or maybe we put a bunch of them down an aisle. We call it a hot aisle, so that you're driving down and dynamically charging that vehicle.
So as you're moving, you're charging?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah. Now, that'll be our second generation of the product. But the first generation will probably be parking areas, either outside of a break room or where that vehicle is typically parked. But we're going to model that. Where you're going to be most likely. Put the vehicle there. You park it. No connections to make. There's a receiving coil on the truck or in our lithium battery that will inductively pass the current through, pass the charge through. You can charge at a higher rate because we're not limited by the connectors anymore. And again, it's one of those, you just go in, you park the thing, and from a usability perspective, it just happens. In opportunity and fast charge, one of the top failure modes or reasons why they don't work is operators forget to plug in. Yeah, it's a pain point. This gets rid of that. Again, it's an ease of use thing, right? And again, our Nexus Ion and our Nexus Pure batteries, our lithium ion and our TPPL product, they especially with advanced carbon and on our thin plate pure lead, they love to be opportunity charged. They just thrive on that. So let's take advantage of it. So that, and people really, I think, have been excited and receptive to the two technologies we're offering, our lithium ion and our thin plate pure lead product. They've been excited about the common features that you can have with a charger and the way we model stuff. But it's like kids at Christmas when they see wireless charging. It has probably been the highlight of our booth.
That was exciting when I heard that. I will admit. Yeah, very cool. So if somebody wants to start to implement some of these new technologies that you're talking about, what are the first steps they take with you?
So the first step that I always recommend with any new application, or even where, is understand what you use, understand what you need. That's really important. So, you can do power studies. That's where you put a device on the truck to understand how much it draws. That's important. But also think about, okay, well, what are the problems you're having in your facility, be it a distribution center, a warehouse, a factory? Where do you think your growth is heading? What kind of trucks are you using? Where are you heaviest? Where's your heaviest demand? Think about that stuff, and then sit down with someone from Enersys, and we'll help model through that with you in our programs to figure out, okay, what is the best technology that you have? I mean, I wouldn't buy anything until I actually did the study and figure it out. And I think in my humble opinion, I think that hybrid solutions are going to be the future. That you don't need all lithium. It's a very expensive, really reliable, but very expensive technology. Let's look at some blend here and say, you got a lighter duty application, that's perfect for thin plate pure lead. If you're heavier duty, put lithium ion. Now, you're also going to make sure that your operators are going to do the right things they need to do. And we'll see with wireless charging that'll help that. But today we don't have that. Yeah. And so there you want to make sure that, okay, how do we set the system up so that your operators can get the best success, plugging in when they need to plug in, and things as simple as, let's put chargers in the brake area, right? They don't all need to be in one dedicated area because we're thinking like a battery room.
I love the idea of putting it in an aisle.
Yeah, right. Hot aisle. I think that's going to be a phenomenal. Well, and think about this, right? If you're in a facility with a pick system, so remember we're now in communication world, right? Where the battery talks to the truck's talking to its mothership, but it's tied into the pick system. Yeah. Knows the state of charge of the battery, so when it sees the battery getting discharged, you could literally program a run down a hot aisle. Yeah. Operator doesn't know this is happening. He or she just is driving the truck where they're told to go. Or maybe it's on a wire and it's telling them where it needs to go. But you run it down and it recharges as it goes down. Yeah. All seamlessly. That's the future direction.
I love that.
Yeah, it's cool. Forget about your battery, right? And that's really what we want to bring. I think the technologies that you looked at, that Enersys is bringing to the table, and that the Nexus experience is going to bring, is that sort of stuff. High reliability, low upkeep. You just forget about that sort of stuff.
Definitely.
It's exciting.
It is exciting.
I've been in the industry for about 23 years now, and we're seeing such rapid change. Yeah. And I think in the next 3 to 5 years, it's going to be just a crazy wild ride. But you're going to see a lot of technology coming to an industry that's been fairly stable for a while.
Yeah, it's going to be great. I mean, I can't wait to see that wireless working, and see it really start
Kids
to implement.
At Christmas. Yeah. Kids at Christmas.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so thanks so much, Harold, for talking to us. What's the website for Enersys? How do you go?
So we have a couple of websites that you might. So Enersys.com is the other one, is our primary one. But I would go to discovernexus.com/US. Discover Nexus. That's where we're putting a lot of our new Nexus experience. And again, Nexus is the umbrella message that we're using. We've been our thin plate pure lead product has been called Nexus, and it still is today. Yeah. But we're morphing that and changing that as we add a lithium-ion product in, and as we're advancing our thin plate pure lead product with carbon. And when we realize it's it's the same experience. It's just we don't want to have people need you don't need a PhD in chemistry to understand which technology. We'll take that on. We'll make it simple for you. But it's the same experience, a maintenance-free, kind of a worry-free, forget about it experience. But discovernexus.com. It's a cool site. That's where we're putting all of our new stuff, and it's really focused on this experience.
Okay, great. Yeah, and we'll definitely post more information about Enersys and Nexus on our blog as well. So thank you.
I really appreciate spending time. This is a lot of fun.
Definitely, yeah. Enjoy the rest of your ProMat.
You too. Thank you.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Lawton from the New Warehouse Podcast. We're back at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, and we are at the Signode booth. We're going to talk to Mike Stein, who is the Director of Global Innovation. So, Mike, welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Very good. Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for being on the show and taking the time to talk to us. So tell us a little bit about Signode and what it is you guys do.
Sure. So Signode, we offer a full suite of solutions for what would be called end-of-line or transit packaging, meaning once the product's been produced by a manufacturer and needs to be shipped or stored, delivered to their customer, we provide a full range of solutions for ensuring that product gets safely from the manufacturing all the way to the customer's site in a safe, damage-free, efficient method. And so we have a full range of solutions. Here at ProMat, we're featuring our products and solutions geared towards the warehousing management marketplace. And so anybody who's shipping pallets of products, could be shipping cans, bottles, consumer goods,
whatever it might be.
Yeah, whatever it is that they're shipping that needs warehousing and transport, we have equipment and solutions to help ensure that that happens safely without damage in transit.
Okay, great. So what type of equipment are you showcasing here? I know the one thing I think I was looking forward to seeing was the octopus.
Yeah. So a couple of the solutions we're showing here, we're actually showing some things as a system, but the centerpiece of it is our octopus automated stretch wrap equipment. That's been a really strong solution for Signode for a long time. This is a piece of equipment that provides a lot of options for customers who are wanting to stretch wrap pallets, again, for securement during storage, during transport, to ensure that things hold together. We can use other of our protected products if you need edge protection or you need tier sheets, other things that need to go in to the system. We can provide that in conjunction with the octopus. And then the octopus offers a variety of solutions, whether you're looking for high speed, you're looking for what happens to the tail of the stretch film, high tensions, different wrap patterns. A lot of times you think, we're just going to put more layers. It might be better to put more layers at the top and not the bottom. And so, there actually is. And so it's not just about how fast you can wrap it, but it's wrapping it the right way to optimize the solution, minimize the scrap that the consumable the customer has to utilize. So.
Definitely. And that pallet wrapper, I'm watching it happen right now, actually. It's pretty cool. So it's fully automated, correct?
Yes, correct.
So you would actually implement that into your conveyor system?
Correct, exactly.
Okay. And then what type of process would it take to kind of implement that into someone's operation if they're interested?
We'll be back after a quick break.
You hear a lot about supply chains these days, because if the past couple years have taught us anything, it's that an efficient, well-managed supply chain is absolutely critical to keeping businesses successful and consumers happy. I'm Will Haywood, and I host a podcast called All Business, No Boundaries, where we talk about supply chains, how they work, what happens when they don't, and the innovations that are redefining what's possible in the world of logistics. Join me for insightful interviews with thought leaders and industry experts. We discuss how optimizing supply chains can break down the barriers that are holding businesses back. That's All Business, No Boundaries by DHL Supply Chain. Listen and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah, so the first thing we want to do is make sure we understand their need, right? What is it that they're trying to achieve? What are the issues are they dealing with? Is it that they want to go as fast as possible? Is it they want to limit their consumable? Is it that they want to need better protection? Are they having damage issues with product, maybe sliding out or getting damaged during loading or transit? And once we understand their application, then we can pick the right technologies, the right solutions, the right features and options to make sure we're giving them the best solution. And then to your point about the automation, we want to try to connect it into their full manufacturing system, so it doesn't need to be moved from their production to the octopus for wrap. We'll set the conveyors up to integrate it directly into their production, so it goes straight from their manufacturing to the wrapper, and once it's wrapped, it's ready to go on the truck.
Got it. So if somebody has, maybe they don't have so much automation in their building, can you still implement this? Like, can someone just drop it out and put it in?
We have a full range. This is our top-of-the-line wrapper.
Okay.
And so when they're looking for high speed or they're looking for a solution like this we think is the best option. And there are different versions of this as well. So depending on what their needs are, we want to tailor the solution, select the right piece of equipment that's going to meet their needs. So it may be an octopus, it may be a high-end version, there may be a more simplified version. If they don't have any automation, there's more entry-level options that still give them the value of automated wrapping without necessarily full integration if they don't have a line to integrate. So.
Got it. So you guys have different levels.
Yeah,
take baby steps towards automation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. That's great to know, because I think there's a lot of people out there that maybe they've been distributing for a very long time, and they're thinking now about I got to get on this automation.
Yeah. You can step into it in a more sort of incremental way.
Yes, definitely. Okay. So since you're the head of innovation, global innovation, right? So what do you think about what's happening with supply chain logistics, and what do you think the future is heading towards?
It's interesting. One thing that seems to be happening more and more in the U.S. is a move to have warehousing closer to the markets. You know, where it used to be, hey, let's just put a big warehouse in the middle of the country with access to all the highways and we'll just ship stuff. But, you know, the cost of trucking is going up, the cost of shipping, fuel, labor, you know, just the cost of the resource. There's regulations now that make it more difficult to just say, oh, we'll ship something, you know, 15 hours to get to the customer. So we see a trend to have maybe more regionalized warehouses that are more efficient, closer to the customer. And so automation like the Octopus is nice. We also have this StoreFast system that's a high-density automated storage retrieval system that allows for very efficient warehousing where you maybe don't have the freedom of a big giant warehouse out in the suburbs. You know, you need your product closer to the customer. This gives you the opportunity for high-density storage and retrieval where you may be limited on space, and I think that's one of the trends in warehousing that we're able to maybe address.
Yeah, how to better utilize the space. Yeah, so talk to me a little bit about the StoreFast, you said it was called?
Yeah,
so talk to me about how that actually works.
Yeah, so the StoreFast system, again, it's an automated storage, automated retrieval, ASRS system, and what it does is it allows for automated put away and retrieval of pallets according to the customer's rule set. So if they're on a pure FIFO situation where they need first in, first out, or it could be batch, first batch in, first batch out, we can store a high volume of pallets in a very condensed space, and it doesn't require employees to go move pallets around with forklifts or, you know, aisles for lifts that you require. These can be stored one next to the other, and the system will determine which pallet it needs for the next shipment. It'll go get it, has the ability to move pallets maybe that are in the way, out of the way, all in an automated method. So, you know, for example, in a cold storage where the smaller your footprint and the smaller your, you know, area under roof that you need to keep cold, the better. This is a perfect solution for an application like that, where you want to limit how much air you need to cool and how much square footage is required. This gives you high density with the ability to automatically retrieve and meet. The key is to meet the customer's rules as far as which product needs to get shipped next.
Yes. Yeah. So I'm looking at the, just to give you guys an idea of what this shuttle system StoreFast looks like. Actually, I'm looking at it, it's almost like a sled. It's red, and it looks like Santa's sleigh a little bit from this angle. But it's really cool. So the pallets they actually have set up at the exhibit are going onto this system, and they're actually being transferred from storage to the Octopus wrapper as well. So you get to see the whole flow of the thing, and it's really, really cool. And they have a video demonstration here showing how you can utilize your space as much as possible, which is definitely ideal, as you said, as we're getting closer to customers.
Yeah, so there's three main elements. There's a cart, there's a shuttle, and there's an elevator. Unfortunately, we don't have the elevator in the show here. But so you're getting, you know, you're utilizing the value of height in a storage facility, and the cart, because the cart's not very heavy, you're not spending a lot of energy moving the cart, and then the shuttle will come off into the aisle and pick the pallet that it needs. And so you're not, unlike a lot of other storage retrieval systems where you're moving the equipment to get to the pallet, the equipment that we're moving is very lightweight, so you're not expending a lot of energy to move the cart and the shuttle. And then the third piece, like I said, would be the elevator, where you'd get from floor to floor to pick the right pallet that you need for the next order.
Okay. So in terms of like implementation, if somebody has an existing space already, is it easy to implement with an existing space?
Actually, that's an awesome question, because one of the great things about this system is it is extremely flexible. Because you're not relying on structured aisles where you need to fit equipment between the aisles. We can lay this out in any space, greenfield, brownfield type space. You can go around corners. It's extremely flexible in terms of how this can be laid out to optimize the footprint even of an existing warehouse. And so, you know, like we were saying before, the first thing is, what does the customer need? What's their volume? How many SKUs? What's their turnover? How many pallets per hour are they trying to process? And then from understanding that, then we can determine what's the optimal layout, how deep do we want to go, how high do we want to go to suit their application, suit their existing space.
Definitely awesome. So, yeah, I mean, it sounds like Signode is definitely helping the industry get better and utilize their space a lot more. And I love the pallet wrapper. I think it's awesome. I love that it's called the Octopus. Well.
Excellent.
So is there anything else that we should know about Signode?
No, I think that's great. I really appreciate you coming by and talking to us. Like I said, we're working to understand our customers' needs, in that end-of-line transit packaging. So we talk about pack, bundle, unitized, warehouse, transport as the 5 sort of pillars of applications that we focus on. And we try to help our customers achieve that, their needs in the most efficient, cost-effective way to get their product into the marketplace. So
Great. So if people want to get in touch with Signode and find out more about their solutions, how do they do that?
Yeah, they can, probably the best bet is go to our website. It's www.signodegroup.com, and from there they can see all the different products that we offer, and there's a variety of other, websites they can jump off to depending on the solutions they're looking for.
All right, great. So thanks, Mike, for talking to the New Warehouse podcast, and we'll be happy to share that information on our website as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Hey, guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse podcast. We are here at ProMat 2019 in Chicago. I am at the WilDeck booth. WilDeck is a provider of mezzanines, stairs, all different kinds of things, guardrails as well. And we're going to talk to Kelly Kamlager. We're going to talk to her about WilDeck, what they do and what they're exhibiting here today, and a little bit about some other things they provide as well. So, Kelly, thanks for coming on the podcast.
Hey, thanks, Kevin. I'm really excited to be here. Our material handling industry is so hot. People are excited about updating their facilities, making them work smarter, investing in equipment, and WilDeck can help you do all of that. We are partners with material handling specialists and system integrator partners throughout the nation. Okay. So we have a really broad reach geographically, and that means you're matched up with a local expert in your region.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So it's nice to have that relationship that's in your backyard that can come over and help with anything on a quick call and whatnot. But WilDeck is a manufacturer out of Waukesha, Wisconsin, and we're all about helping you find your space, utilize your space, make it safer for your people and personnel, and making it easier to access the equipment that you need to gain access to. And we've been a manufacturer for over 45 years, and we have some really cool, creative, well-engineered products on the market. Our mezzanines, we offer multiple framing options, so our framing can help you span the distances you need. We don't have to place column drops in inconvenient locations. So we're working with you to make that space as optimized as possible while making it as cost efficient as possible as well. Yeah. So a lot of flexibility, a lot of creative engineering goes into making this mezzanine platform work for you. And with that mezzanine platform, you have the opportunity to do so much more with that gained space in your cube. Yeah. So you're using the vertical space, and by doing so, you now have gained double the capacity, following different codes. It has different tax depreciation rules than adding a true second story constructed level. By adding the space, you now have space for storing, kitting, packaging, in-plant offices, like creative, flexible space. But you have done this without expanding your footprint. You have looked up. You're already paying for the lighting, the heat, the air conditioning, the taxes.
Yeah, you're already paying for the air above you, right? So why
exactly. So utilize the cube and work smarter. So now that you have the space upstairs, how are you going to access it? So there's efficiency options. So there's lots of fork trucks running around. There's lots of different ways that you can do that. WilDeck provides and manufactures vertical reciprocating conveyors, VRCs. Okay. And what this is that it follows the conveyor codes. Today we're showing our express lift, which is more of an automated system. It integrates with conveyor, live conveyor. Yeah. So it's utilizing a very small footprint. So it's one more option that's out there. And it's really cool. It's all customized to what you're trying to accomplish.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. I'm watching it right now, and it's actually, so I guess what it's demonstrating is that you have a tote that's riding your conveyor, I guess would be on your first level of your distribution center, and then it reaches to the point where it gets to the lift, and then the lift actually takes the tote up on a similar piece of conveyor, it looks like. And then
the carriage.
Yeah, the carriage, and then it actually would go to your mezzanine, right?
Correct, and then it would off-feed into your operations above. Okay. So the way this demonstration is set up is it's just going up and down, and it's kind of being repetitive. But some operations would have it, the in-feed coming in, it would transport up and then transport off. So, it really depends on what your operations are. And then, but WilDeck believes in having strong, well-engineered and designed controls. So the control systems are like the brains or the heart of the matter. And by making it as user-friendly as possible, making it as efficient as possible, making the troubleshooting easier, that's keeping your uptime up and eliminating the downtime. So we really stand by our quality control systems.
Yeah.
All right, so we've been through mezzanines.
Okay.
So you found your space.
Yes.
Now we've been through VRCs.
How do you get to the space? Right?
Yeah, how to get to the space safely, efficiently. But, this is the express lift. We also make just classic vertical reciprocating conveyors for one-time transactions. This is an automated version.
Okay.
We're one of the exclusive manufacturers of a rider lift. So now we're transporting a person with a load up to that next level. So depending on how many people you have and what your operations are, that can gain efficiencies in your workspace. Yeah. And that is new to the marketplace, is a rider lift. Because you're transporting a load with a trained operator. Yeah. So it's not an elevator and it's not a VRC. It's the rider lift. So it's in this carved out niche in the middle.
Yeah, yeah. So the operator would actually go with like a pallet of product onto the lift and then it would lift them up?
Yep.
Okay. So would you be going with like a pallet jack or? Yeah.
Operations are running leaner.
Yeah,
personnel.
Yeah.
You're running as lean as possible with personnel. And this is gaining in efficiency because maybe you don't have a full-time employee upstairs. So now you're efficiently transporting that person with the load to make that job so much easier.
Wow. Okay. Mm-hmm. So what's the weight capacity on that?
Tell us what you need to do and let's work around it. Let's meet that.
All
yeah.
Right. That's
so
the best
we have
answer,
4-post, very, very strong, robust machines moving hundreds and thousands of pounds all the way down to a tote lift and automation. Okay. We've been through the cube, so we've talked about mezzanine space and the platform space, the gained advantages of that. We've talked about the efficiency access of the vertical reciprocating conveyors. Now you've invested in your capital equipment in your facility. Got this figured out. Don't underestimate and create this. Let's talk about guarding and protecting that investment.
Definitely.
Because your downtime there, don't let protection be the next emergency you have to figure out. Yeah. Invest in it with the front end so that you are just up to top snuff and you are ready to run at maximum efficiency. So, guarding. WilDeck believes in strong guarding, but we also believe in meeting the strength requirements of your jobs. So we have the strongest tested guardrail on the market, but we also have a medium grade, which is industry standard, and then we have a light duty grade, so the visual barriers. So it depends on how fast you're moving around, what you're moving, and what you need. So we believe in protecting your people, we believe in protecting your facility, and we can meet all of your requirements. So we've got that on the guardrail line. Yeah. We also have that on the rack protection line. So if you're using lighter product to move around, the light duty might be just fine.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, I think you have a good point there because, I think a lot of people, they invest all this money in these big automation systems or mezzanines and all this stuff, racking, and then they forget about the right protection to have for it. And then when somebody hits something like that, then it's like, oh my God, we should have protected it in some way.
It's now your emergency.
Yes, yeah.
Yep. And, it's what is the value of the inventory on the racks?
Oh, yeah.
So invest in your rack protectors now so that in the event of an accident, and we all know accidents happen because we're all human.
Definitely.
And it's okay. Yeah. But protect your people, protect your facility, protect your investments, make it a safe operations, add the rack protectors in. Yes, make it easy. Yeah. Make it safe. Make it so that is not your emergency moving forward. Yeah. So it's kind of fun. There's so many opportunities when you walk into a facility and you see the loading docks, you see the track guards protecting the overhead doors, you see fork truck aisles, you see racks. Yeah. These could all be your emergencies.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's eliminate them.
Yeah. When you mentioned the fork truck aisles, it's not just about protecting the systems and equipment that you invest in, it's about protecting the people too as well, right?
They're your greatest asset.
Yeah, of course, yeah. So thanks so much for talking to us.
I do have one more product line if I may.
Oh, yeah, bring it on.
We talked to mezzanines, we talked to VRCs, we went to the safety protection with the guardrail and the guarding options. We also have access equipment, which is small work platforms, conveyor crossovers. So now you've got this complex facility. make it easier for your people to do their job, get to where they need to go. Make it so your maintenance personnel working on the electrical panel is protected from fork trucks. So it's all about keeping that access.
Yes.
It's conveyor crossovers, custom platforms. You tell us what you need, what height you need, we got it.
Yes. And I've worked in automated warehouses with conveyors and all that stuff, and there have been so many times where I said, I wish that there was a way I could just walk over this conveyor without walking like this far.
Don't walk the quarter
around.
mile down, to walk the quarter mile back on the other side, because there isn't an access point.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, so all that stuff, I mean, when you set up your warehouse and you start to put conveyor and stuff like that, you should think about that and plan for that ahead. You should put that in the plan, I think, along with the protection as well. So you guys are definitely offering a great product. And I saw, too, on your blog that you have some great information there as well in terms of safety tips and stuff like that.
Yeah, check our social out. Better yet, give us a call. Let's individualize it. Let's personalize it. Let's make it work for your facility. The content is great. The blogs are great. It gives you a lot. But you know what? Let's streamline it. Just give us a call.
Okay.
But yeah, check it out. We're all over the place. Come visit. Come talk.
All right. So what is your website? How do people find out?
Our website is WilDeck.com. WilDeck.com.
Okay, great. And if somebody wants to get in touch with you, how would they do that?
So give us a call at 1-800-325-6939.
All right,
We've got a team of qualified people that can answer all your questions.
All right, great. Thanks so much, Kelly, for being on the New Warehouse podcast, and enjoy your ProMat.
Hey, thanks so much.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Lawton again with the New Warehouse podcast. We're at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, and we are at the Siemens booth, and we're going to talk to Bhaskar about Siemens and the material handling side that Siemens has, and I think some automation as well. So, Bhaskar, welcome to the show. Good to have you.
Thank you.
Yes. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Siemens? Obviously, Siemens does many, many things, right? So why don't you tell us about this segment of the company and kind of how it relates to logistics and distribution?
Sure, be happy to. So while I agree, Siemens is a very large corporation, this part of Siemens actually focuses on the components, both from a hardware perspective and a software perspective, that get involved in overall material handling automated equipment. And what we're showing off here at the booth today is some simulation equipment that can help distribution center engineers and planners design a distribution center from scratch, and also simulate it with different pieces of equipment that they may want to evaluate the validity of. So, for example, AGVs, conveyor systems, sortation systems. Our simulation equipment can help designers and engineers come up with the right mix of equipment that makes sense for the throughput requirements of their distribution center, and then also be able to validate the automation code for the PLCs, the programmable logic controllers, and the variable frequency drives that go in and actually operate this equipment all in one simulated environment without ever having to build a piece of equipment up front. It helps out with the cost justification of doing new warehouses and trying new technologies in these warehouses, and it also makes them feel more comfortable about trying new technologies before they ever have to actually build something out in the field.
Got it. Interesting. So you guys are doing a lot of testing kind of stuff, it sounds like?
A lot of testing, a lot of simulation, a lot of virtual commissioning as well, too. That seems to be a big hot-button topic among a lot of people that actually go about executing on some of this equipment. Yeah. There's always a limited amount of time that an OEM or a system integrator has when they go out into the field and have to actually service and start up some automated material handling equipment.
Yeah.
We, with some of our software simulation tools, can help them feel comfortable about validating the amount of time it takes to commission equipment before they ever have to go on site, so that they have a little bit less time that they have to physically spend on site troubleshooting, diagnosing, and doing all the things that a normal startup would require.
Really? It's very interesting, yeah, because I've actually I'm a warehouse manager as well, so I've actually been through automated new warehouse setup and all that stuff and gone through all the testing and stuff, and it can be a little painful, especially from like operations management standpoint, because you're like, I want to go. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
So you guys are kind of taking that process on the front end and kind of taking out all those little bumps, maybe not all of them, but taking a lot of them out to make it more of a smooth implementation.
That's what we're trying. We know that the words digital twin have been thrown around this industry for a few years now, and it's something everyone kind of smiles at because it is a good buzzword. But to be honest with you, the last 5 years, we've had a really good set of software simulation tools that have been able to create true digital twins of a production facility or a manufacturing facility or a warehouse before anyone builds anything. And the real key that we've been trying to hone in on the last few years is we have a linkage to all the programmable logic controllers and all the VFDs that operate that equipment. So beyond just having a pretty picture that says, here's how an animated warehouse would work, we actually can prove that our components that actually drive that equipment will work with the simulation that you've made on the front end. And that's, in my opinion, how we can kind of shorten the amount of time that it takes to actually execute and commission a real warehouse.
Interesting, very interesting. So I'm looking here, I'm at the booth, and looks like we have all these controls here and buttons and stuff. So talk to us about what is here at the booth, and for people that couldn't make it to the show, what could they have seen here?
So what we are really trying to showcase here is the main components that drive automated material handling equipment. That's programmable logic controllers, that's variable frequency drive, that's geared and servo motors. What we're really trying to show with some heavy emphasis, Siemens has always been a good name as far as a technology leader worldwide is going. People have always been very curious about how easy our components are to work with and how easy our components are to troubleshoot and evaluate. What we're trying to show here, for a lot of the warehouse equipment manufacturers and a lot of the people that actually have to support warehouses, transparency into diagnostics and transparency into some of the troubleshooting techniques are a really big pain point for them. That's what we're trying to show off. How modular our solutions are, how much diagnostics you can get in plain text English from some of the field devices, and how easy it is to actually use the equipment once it's out in the field, and how we can lower that threshold actually starting up and using our equipment. That fear and uncertainty and doubt, that's what we're trying to show with these walls and some of these demos to say, hey, our equipment's industry leading, it is bleeding edge, but it is not terribly difficult to use. And if you all come by the booth, we can show you how to actually go about actually using it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'm taking a look at it, and from my experience, I've seen some systems that are a little crazy and intimidating to look at. And to look at this, I mean, you can see that it really is simplified in a way. And I can see like the screens and everything you have on here. I mean, it looks like somebody had to troubleshoot like on the fly. That they may be able to get their way around it. And I think that's really important too, and because that becomes, when you start to talk about automation and companies are starting to look at that type of thing for the first time for them, a lot of that can be scary. So it looks like you guys are trying to make it a little less intimidating, I would say, and I think that's an amazing thing. I think that's great.
We know that 90% of the headache that everyone has when they put up a warehouse is not in the first 10 months of commissioning, but it's in the next 25 years of operation. And it's rotating electrical machinery. At some point, things are going to happen, and our goal is to make sure that we have powerful equipment that can support it all, but easy-to-use equipment when you have to mitigate any kind of downtime issues. And that's really what we're hoping to show people here.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, in my experience, I've had to do some like late at night when I was working on
those 3 o'clock in the morning issues, right?
Yeah, I've been in a tower with shuttle robots like at 1 o'clock in the morning. Thinking about what am I doing? But so I mean, this really to look at, because even some systems, I mean, you look at them and right away you look at them like, whoa, like this is kind of complicated. But looking at this, I mean, it's very clear, and there's screens on a lot of the modules and stuff, and so it makes it very easy, and I think it makes it more even like approachable to the end user, which is really a great thing when we're trying to make warehousing and distribution better. We're trying to improve it, make it more efficient. And at first, when you start to talk about robots and automation, it's like, whoa. But then, you start to look at things that are more simplified and easier for the end user, then I think you really are accomplishing something and making it better. So is there anything else that listeners should know about Siemens?
The one thing that we're not showcasing, except for some of these screens that we have, we've got some talking point screens. We've also come out with a very interesting, and again, I have to smile a little bit because it's the big buzzword that gets thrown around, but we have a very good IoT operating system called MindSphere that we've started to showcase a little bit as well too. So you've got the front-end simulation, the validation process. You've got the actual hardware that goes out there and actually executes and automates the systems. But there's also a last piece from the maintenance standpoint. And a lot of people are trying to come out with different devices that hit the Internet of Things, and all that really means is you want data to come back from the devices that are installed in the field, and you want to do something with that data. What we've come out with is this operating system called MindSphere. And all MindSphere is, it's a way of consolidating a variety of different data points, utilizing concrete algorithms that are specific to the applications that these industries care about, conveyor technology, sortation technology, etc., and being able to use that and some of that data feedback to come up with predictive maintenance procedures so that downtime events don't catch you all off guard.
Yeah.
We want to get to the point where we can analyze the way that a motor is running on a conveyor belt system, utilize the VFD as the big sensor that is getting all that data back for that conveyor belt, and based on what that VFD is seeing, be able to say, hey, in 2 months, you might have a bearing issue, or you might have a slip belt issue.
Yeah.
That's the direction we're going with. We're on a good path to that, and all these devices you see over here can support connections into MindSphere.
Yeah.
We'd be very encouraged to have a customer come up to us and talk to us and see how we can actually do that on a real system for them.
Interesting, yeah. So it's almost like predicting preventative maintenance a little bit, which is very, very key, especially when you're looking at distribution operation. Like preventative maintenance is huge. So to be able to have even closer prediction of when something may need to be replaced, I mean that's amazing technology.
Like I said, first 10 months, that's one part. The next 25 years of that warehouse, that's what we want to help you all with.
Yeah, the startup is crazy, but then from there you have to
own it.
Yeah. So it looks like you guys are really making strides in making these things better and more accessible and more digestible, I think, too, as well. So I appreciate it from a warehouse manager standpoint.
There we go.
So thanks so much for talking to us. If people want to find out more about what you guys are doing, how can they do that?
So we've got a LinkedIn page. We've just look up Siemens Digital Industry on LinkedIn.
Okay.
They can always contact me, Bhaskar Chopra. I'm the industry manager for material handling in the U.S.
Okay.
And then if at any point they want to stop by our booth, or we're a featured supplier for MHI as well too, under several of the conveyor sortation industry groups, the ASRS industry group, and the AGV industry group. You can find us on there as well too.
Okay, definitely. Thanks so much for coming on the show, Bhaskar, and I'll post more information about Siemens and what they have going on here, as well as in the future on the website. So thanks again for the New Warehouse Podcast.
Thank you.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. We're here at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, and I am at the Fetch Robotics booth. I am with Melanie Wise, and she's going to talk to us a little bit about Fetch, what is it that they do, and the type of robotic offerings they have, and also what they're exhibiting at the show this year. So Melanie, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a great week.
Definitely, yes. Yeah, and a long week too, right? But busy is good, right? Yeah, so why don't you tell us a little bit about Fetch and what it is you guys do?
So Fetch is a Silicon Valley startup. We started about 4.5 years ago, and we build autonomous mobile robots for the logistics industry. And what we're really focused on is providing an approach to allow people to tackle a lot of different workflows, material workflows, beyond fulfillment.
Great. So what is it? I mean, I see a lot of robots around me. One is courting me, maybe trying to dance with me. I don't know. Spinning behind me. So what type of robots do you guys have, and what are the different products you have here at ProMat?
Yeah, so the robot behind you, I think it's actually trying to go where that gentleman's standing, and so the robot's just waiting for him to move.
Yeah, the robot's saying, what is this dumb human doing?
So in our booth, we're showing a whole bunch of different products. So we've built 3 robots as a platform, 100 kilogram, 500 kilogram, and 1500 kilogram payload robots.
Okay.
And what you see moving around are 100 kilogram payload robots with different accessories on top.
All right.
For interfacing with roller conveyor, for moving carts around, for doing data collection for RFID, etc. in the warehouse.
Okay. So I noticed that this is not really like a manless area, so the robots are able to kind of coexist with employees as well.
Yeah, so all of our robots are collaborative robots. They're meant to work beside people, and they're safety certified to be in these environments with people. So all of our robots have CE marks on them.
Okay, perfect. That's awesome, because I think that we're heading towards robotics and automation as being more and more of a prominent thing, but I think really cobots seems to be where it's at. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think cobots is something that's been rapidly expanding over the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And we started with the arm space with taking industrial arms into the workspace of humans, and now we're going there with mobile robots.
Definitely. So what does an implementation of the Fetch Robotics products look like?
So depending on the customer, We deploy the robots in a couple of days. We set up a full solution in a facility in a couple of days. And the robots are typically doing point-to-point transit of materials or dropping materials onto a conveyor or moving carts around the facility. Typically water spider activities or replenishment activities or picking activities or just-in-time delivery, line-side delivery. So we really span 3 major verticals. Warehousing, direct distribution, and manufacturing.
Okay, very interesting. So now, if someone wanted to start to bring these robots into their operation, what would be their first step?
First step would be to reach out to our sales team to set up a pilot. And basically, we take you through a process of looking at the work that you want to accomplish, and we help figure out how many robots you need and start the pilot. Most of our customers do a 15 to 30-day pilot, and then at the end of it, usually deploy.
All right, so then I guess if you can do, so with the 15 to 30-day pilot, you're actually bringing the robots into their space.
Yes.
So I guess the startup of the robots is pretty simple, pretty quick.
Yeah, you can deploy the upwards of 30 or 40 robots in a couple of hours.
Wow, very impressive. Yeah.
It's largely because we have a cloud-based platform, so there's no servers to install, there's no added Wi-Fi infrastructure we need to add. Everything is done in the cloud, and all you need is a web browser to really get the robots up and running and moving in your facility in a day.
Got it. So in terms of location, how does the robot know where it is and where it's going?
Yeah, so the robots have planar LiDAR on it, and that's how they build a map of the facility. So you drive the robot around with the joystick, it builds a map, and then the robot uses that LiDAR and the map to know where it is.
Okay. Very interesting. So thank you so much for talking to us. Yeah. And how do we find out more information about Fetch?
Yeah, if you'd like to find out more information about Fetch Robotics, go to fetchrobotics.com.
All right, thank you so much, and enjoy the last day of ProMat.
All right, thank you very much.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. Back here at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, powered by MHI. I'm going to speak to Dan Trainer of Toshiba America Business Solutions, and he's going to tell us a little bit about what they do. We're going to talk about barcode label printers, and Dan's going to describe to us kind of what he's exhibiting here and what Toshiba provides in terms of solutions for our type of industry. So Dan, thank you for talking to us, and welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us, and looking forward to a good show. What's left of it, we're here on the third day as we start. So
Definitely. But it's been a crazy show. It's been a lot of people in attendance, right?
Correct. So this is my first day. We had 2 other people here, my counterparts, for the first 2 days, but they said it was a very busy. We've got a bunch of leads to follow up on so far.
Awesome. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Toshiba America Business Solutions. Toshiba obviously is a large company, many different branches. So what specifically does this branch do?
So TABS, for short, Toshiba America Business Solutions. We have, under our umbrella, we have the thermal label printers, we have the MFPs, multifunction printers, and we have digital signage. What my business development, there's 4 of us across the country, what my division or part of that is the thermal label printers. So printers from portables all the way up to the 8.5 wide industrial printers.
Interesting. Okay. So now, what are you guys actually exhibiting here? So I see a couple printers on the table. So are these newer products or current products?
They're our full product line, from our portables, which are 2, 3, and 4-inch direct thermal printers, all the way up to what we have displayed here, our 6-inch wide. We did not bring our 8-inch wide printer, 8.5-inch wide printer, and then our desktop, which are the ones that are used in FedEx, UPS type shipping or small label printing applications. Okay. And then our most unique printer, which is our 2-sided print at one-time printer, generally used for shipping label on the one side of the front of it, and then a packing slip on the back side, peeled and done at one time.
I like that. That's nice. So I'm looking at some smaller printers here. And now, so what type of implementations do these usually get put into?
So the portable printers are used exactly what they sound. Any place where you need to be mobile and moving around. Okay. They could be mounted on a forklift to take it around if you need to do the printing there. Yeah. Primarily they are used our largest customer, which is our 4-inch wide printer, they have about 75 to 100,000 of them. It's one of the larger package carriers, and they use them whenever a package arrives to their areas that does not have a printable or a scannable barcode. They're able to put a new barcode on it and then move it on from there. For myself, my largest customer uses the 2-inch, and they are a very large, across-the-country discount store. So daily they're out on the floor, and daily they are doing markdowns. So they use that as a label markdown. So as they go to that area, instead of having to run back and forth to the back warehouse, print a bunch of labels, come out onto the floor, they're able to print them right there and apply them. Saves a lot of productivity, and that's really what they're designed for. They're productivity savers. In a retail environment, like the 3-inch, which is a common receipt size, you can do it for line busting. So the receipt is printed out, the person goes, and they're right out. So if you have to move people, product quickly.
Like a Black Friday situation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Perfect example for that. Or out on the, I'm doing a warehouse selling or a parking lot sale. So I've got the inside point of sales and then the outside point of sales.
Interesting. So I'm looking at this. This is the 2-inch one here.
2-inch, yes.
And it looks like it has a rugged setup. So
yes.
So these are totally wireless, correct?
Correct. Yeah. They're wireless and Bluetooth.
Mm-hmm. So what's the, since, you think wireless, and obviously if you're talking about carrying them around on forklifts and stuff like that, there's probably going to be one drop every once in a while. So what's the durability on these?
That is one of the reasons that the shipping carrier stays with us. Granted, you can't see this for those that are listening, but it does have the rubber bumpers all the way around. Yeah. It is a very rugged device, and that's what Toshiba is known for. The other thing that we're known for on our portables or any of our mobile devices is our battery. We have an exceedingly long battery life. So one of the questions we always get is, how long is this going to last? We're generally a shift plus, so a shift being 8 hours. We're going to be 10 to 12 hours without any problem usually. On the front is going to be a display. This one currently isn't powered up, but it's going to give you battery life and the rest. And then it's very easy to pop the battery out and put it back in while we're out there. So again, I'll carry a spare battery with me if I need to go longer than the 12 hours. And some shifts are. And then you're just constantly recycling them through. So lastly on these, which I'll show you fairly quickly, when you open it up, ours does not have an internal holder. So you do not have to use our media other than the roll size. Obviously, we prefer that you do, but our media is a one-handed change.
Kind of universal.
So I can just drop it in and close it down. So our competition, you generally have to have two hands. You have to be able to spread the holder, drop in the roll, seat it in there, and then go up. Ours is designed to just do it one-handed and move all out.
Interesting, yeah. You just did it in front of me. It's very, very quick, and it's just a pop in, pop out. And you said that you could use any label?
You can. Ours are label and receipt printer, which not our competition all is. Yeah. Plus the core size. The core size is for everybody else very critical. For us, it is not critical.
Interesting. So it gives you a lot of universal use there.
Correct.
Yeah, and that's, I think, would be important and something that purchasing team may enjoy.
Very much so.
Yeah. So what else should we know about? Is there anything else we should know?
Well, on the portables or Toshiba in general?
In general.
In general, besides our two-sided printer, one of the things that we're really known for on our, we have, which I'll show you in a minute, we have what's called near-edge print technology. Okay. So everybody else, including us, we have our flathead. And a flathead means that the pixels are a little bit further back on the print head. The media comes through and then it wraps around, and that's normal. Yeah. They're left justified as you're standing in front of the printer. Everything moves to the left and comes out. On ours, on our near-edge printers, which are T1s by our number, they are center justified and then the near edge. So the pixels are right up close to the near edge. Okay. So to help illustrate that, and again, you're not seeing this on the radio or on the pod, but imagine these stitch lines, that's near edge. This would be where the flathead are. On a flathead, the head is exactly flat. On the near edge, it's actually at a slight angle. The reason for that is that it allows us to do thicker materials.
Okay.
So we can do plant stakes, we can do really thick material if we need to. For all the agriculture business. Yeah. And then the other thing that it allows us to do is it allows us to pick up the print head off of the media, stop advancing our ribbon, so it's a ribbon save feature. Yeah. And so if you have a ribbon or a label that is 10, 12 inches long or longer, and I only need to print on the bottom 1 inch, you're wasting 10 inches worth of ribbon every single print on a flathead printer. On ours, it lifts it up, stops it, so you're saving a lot of ribbon. And Toshiba is definitely known for that. In the right applications, you are going to make the money back on our printers, on the media, within a very short order.
Very good to know, very good to know. So if people want to find out more about Toshiba printers and start to look at how do they implement them into their system, where do they go?
Probably the easiest thing is Toshiba.com. It's not always the easiest to get to our label printers, but if you search a little bit, you will see it in there. We're actually revamping our webpage as we speak to make our label printers more prominent in there. Because the MFPs, the multifunction printers, are so prevalent, or the biggest portion of us, they get the lion's share of it. Yeah. But we're there. The other thing, there are 4 business development managers that work with dealers throughout the country. So if they have a question, have whoever listens to this talk to their dealer, or if you are a dealer, reach out to Toshiba and we'll be happy to talk with you and show you how to implement it in there and make it work for you.
Okay, great. Dan, thanks so much for talking to us on the New Warehouse podcast.
I appreciate it.
Definitely. I hope you enjoy the rest of your ProMat.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hi guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse podcast. I'm back here at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, and we are at the Honeywell Intelligrated booth, and I'm going to talk to James Hendrickson. He's going to talk to us a little bit about their voice component of Honeywell, tell us what they're exhibiting here, and also a little bit about the company as well. So James, thanks for talking to us today.
Thanks for having me, Kevin.
Definitely. Good to see you here, and I'm sure you guys are doing well. The booth is very, very busy. We had to kind of tuck away into a corner here. So why don't you tell us a little bit about Honeywell in general, and then kind of dive into your side, which is the voice, right?
Sure. Yeah, so Honeywell obviously is a huge industrial conglomerate, right? There's a lot of different businesses. Everybody seems to know a little bit of different things about Honeywell. Yeah. It's thermostats or aerospace. We operate in a lot of different areas and really successfully. We've recently made within the business unit we're in, which is called Safety and Productivity Solutions, is focused on the connected worker, focus on the actual warehouse and process improvement, productivity in the warehouse and across the sort of the traditional supply chain. So Intelligrated is sort of the latest in that space of being able to adding to the Honeywell portfolio of best-in-breed warehouse automation, robotics, and software solutions to really aid in the warehouse space. A few years before that, I'm with a business called WilDeck that was originally called WilDeck. We do voice-directed picking in the warehouse, and we're another part of the Honeywell solution that covers that end-to-end in that warehouse space. So along with the traditional handheld products for scan guns and printers and those types of things, which are definitely a part of our solution, all here represented in our booth. You can come by and see that kind of stuff. Also, we have a lot of focus around the voice-directed work, just because of the productivity, accuracy, safety, and one of the new things that we've been actually hearing a lot about is around the difficulty in finding qualified labor. Right? There's a labor shortage. Yes, so the fact that you can onboard workers much more quickly using a voice system turns out to be really powerful in a labor market like this. Yeah. And then typically the workers who use voice are happier, and we see a pretty significant reduction in attrition for customers that are using voice. So faster to onboard workers, and then you can keep them longer.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and in my experience using voice pick as well, it's been very successful, and it's definitely improved the.
I should probably have checked on that first before I said all those things to see if you were actually happy with it.
Well, don't worry. It's worked for me, and I've utilized it, and the workers, they do enjoy it as well. And it does increase productivity because you have everybody kind of doing the same method, same type of way, and it actually allows you to kind of create a competition
for
amongst big
sure.
as well too.
Yep.
And they love that.
Yep.
Definitely in my experience, they love it. So what actually are you guys exhibiting here at the show?
Yeah, so we have a lot of great things. The voice business within Honeywell is an area of significant focus for our overall business, partly because of the significant savings and improvements it brings to the warehouse, but also because we're releasing a lot of great new products.
Yeah.
So at this show, we're showcasing our latest wearable computer. In the Talkman line. It's called a Talkman A700X, and it runs Linux, high security, a bunch of sensors in it to be able to sort of talk about that motivational design or that gamification, to be able to allow warehouses that want to do things like step count or directionality, which way the worker is moving when they're doing things, how many steps between picks, to really be able to sort of take that gamification, that motivational design to the next level.
Definitely.
So that's one of the products that we're showing here. That will be really interesting to our existing customers and new customers in sort of that heads down picking kind of environment where you're really just trying to get as much productivity out of that worker as you can, as well as in the freezer space because of the ruggedness and those types of things.
Okay.
We're also showing our solution running on Android. So as part of the overall Honeywell portfolio within the productivity products division, which is the traditional handheld mobile computers, RF scan guns, there's obviously a push right now to move to Android. And so we have been, that's a key area of focus for us to be able to move and to be able to support Android on the software side. So we have options for anybody who wants to be able to use a voice solution. So you can use it on Android, you can use it on a built-purpose device. We want to make sure that anybody who wants to use it has a chance to do it, and they're not limited by something as simple as an operating system or a previous technology choice.
Yeah. Okay, definitely. So you talked about earlier about the labor market, right?
Yeah.
So it's definitely, and that's what everybody is saying, is there's a shortage in the labor market. But one thing in the labor market too, that I've seen in my experience, especially with VoicePick, is that you have in your labor market many different languages.
Yeah.
So how does your software and your voice system, how does that deal with the different types of languages?
Yeah, so a couple different ways. So you brought up a good point. So we also have, historically, the voice business within Honeywell has focused on something called speaker-dependent speech recognition, which is where the worker is training their voice for a few minutes before they start using it. And we have felt pretty strongly that is the best way to go about doing it, because if you're going to be paid on your performance, you need it to work.
Yes.
Anytime that Siri doesn't work or Google doesn't work, it's annoying, but it's not the end of the world. But if your livelihood depends on it, it needs to absolutely work all the time.
Definitely.
So, but we've heard from our customers that they want additional options. They want to be able to bring in temporary workers and not have to do that initial training.
Yep.
So we've released a speaker-independent version that allows you to basically just pick up the device and go, just pick up and go.
Okay.
That would, obviously has a language dependency.
Yeah.
The speaker-dependent system that we've historically used, you're allowed to train in whatever language you'd like.
Yeah.
So it's just really not limited by any language at all. It's only limited by what the worker hears, and that's basically decided by the warehouse, whether they want to translate it into whatever language.
Okay. Interesting. So, and I think that's really good that you have that easy startup, pick up and go.
Yep.
Because when in a former VoicePick environment that I worked, there was always a kind of a debate back and forth when we would have rush season.
Yep.
We would have the seasonal item that would come in. And we would bring in a bunch of temp workers.
Yeah.
And there was always a debate between the managers. Do we take the time to train them on VoicePick or not?
Yep.
And, there was one side of that believed that, yes, we have to because we need to reduce the errors.
Yep.
The other side was, no, it's too much time to get them to learn the voice and stuff. So the fact that you can pick it up and go is a great thing, definitely.
Yep. And then some of and probably part of that debate was around, is it worth the time to do that training versus not doing it? And some of the analytic tools that we have that we're adding into our product portfolio will allow you to be able to actually have data to be able to measure whether or not the trained voice work better versus the untrained voice, so that you can actually make that decision with data rather than sit around debating it.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. And for the record, I was on the side of yes, train them, because I was working in inventory control. And I did not want any mistakes.
Good.
So
You want your job to be easier.
Fighting. Yeah. So, all right. So
because accuracy is king, right?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I think so. I mean, especially you look at customer service level demands now.
Right. You can't make a mistake. You just can't.
You can't make a mistake, and you got to be on time. And if you do everything right out of the gate, then you're going to have your as close to a perfect order as you can.
For sure, definitely. And that's the goal, right? It's interesting that you said that, because we actually have a lot of some of our customers, on the voice side, we even call it voice pick, right? We've been talking back and forth, right? But we've been able to go sort of end to end through that value chain, right? Doing things like put away and receiving and cycle counting, and we'll be able to basically apply to all the warehouse functions. But we've had such success in the picking area that we even call it voice pick. Yeah. But what we're hearing from some of our customers around that accuracy and that accuracy requirement is that they're sometimes introducing scanning back into the picking process because they're getting feedback that the accuracy isn't maybe where they would like it to be, and they sort of get away from those best practices around. If you don't have a scanner in here, you're going to be more productive, right? You're essentially picking with your arm tied behind your back if you have a scanner, right? Even if it's a wearable one, there's still a cost to that, right? So I think sometimes without thinking, they just go, all right, we have an accuracy problem. We have to fix it with scanning, because scanning is always more accurate, which in our test, we're not seeing that it's always more accurate. In fact, and it's all about focus, right? Obviously, scanning a barcode, you scan the barcode and you've got the right one. It's that when somebody asks you a question, between when you've scanned it and when you're putting it in, it's easy to make that mistake, and where you don't change your focus with voice, that makes a difference. So it's interesting what we've been seeing is that the focus on accuracy is a chance to be able to go and wait, look, maybe you should be able to looking at voice putting, because some of these problems are actually happening in the put-away process, where you actually haven't focused because it doesn't represent a big enough area of your labor, or it doesn't, whatever the reasons are. And it seems like a lot of warehouses want to focus on picking because it's the bulk of their labor, and you can get the biggest win. But if you're putting everything away in the wrong spot, picking it and getting it right is going to be really, really tough.
Definitely, because the picker's just going to pick it where it tells them to take
it
from.
Right. And in fact, that's what you want, right? You don't want them to. You don't really want to be adding commentary or annotating what they're doing, right?
Yeah. Definitely. So, I mean, I think that is something, you make a good point, because a lot of times some operations, they miss that all of that back-end stuff leading up to the pick is a big deal. Yep. Because it makes the pick more accurate, it makes the pick more timely and efficient as well. Yeah, and I think a lot of people don't see that because they see the pick is dollars, right? Right. It's tied to the orders, get it done. Yeah.
And it's your biggest pool of labor, right?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, so some of the other things that we're showing here, and this was actually the one I'm probably most excited about here, because it sort of shows what you get when you begin integrating sort of technologies within a company like Honeywell. So we're showing here the integration of voice and voice pick and voice put with Fetch Robotics, which Honeywell has a partnership with. So it's an autonomous robot that brings a shelf to the person, goods to person type of environment, and we're using that to show voice pick integrating with robotics. But that robot is then going and interfacing with a pick to light environment. Yeah. So that you sort of show that from a high velocity picking kind of environment, we have these solutions don't sit as islands unto themselves. So they can be integrated into them to be able to get best in class. Yeah. So voice plus lights, voice plus robotics, and then what we're showing here is voice plus robotics plus lights, as a way of sort of expanding the way that we traditionally think about some of this stuff, and saying these things are not point solutions that you can only get from one vendor in one way to solve one problem. Thinking more broadly about how to solve these overall problems holistically in a way that is the best fit, because you can now get it all from one company.
Yeah, definitely. So if somebody wants to start to implement Honeywell products into their operation, how do they take that first step?
So usually we want to make sure we understand your operation. Okay. That's another big change that that we're bringing into the overall Honeywell business. I think the legacy Vocalec business has done a great job of that. Some of the other businesses have done a really good job of it as well. But instead of just showing up with a bunch of product, a bunch of kit that you're saying, all right, these solve all of your problems, we have a strong focus on making sure we take time to get to know your process, understand what your process is. And since we see a lot of warehouses, we can make a lot of recommendations, even some that are not within our portfolio, right? So from a vendor perspective, I always have a lot of respect for a vendor that goes, look, I see a lot of different places. You could fix that by doing this. I'm sorry, we don't have it in our portfolio, but I can tell you somebody that I've seen that does a really good job. And tremendous amount of credibility to do that, because what we're really looking for is to make your warehouse better. And and if we have it in our portfolio, we'll show you what we've got. But the goal is to make sure that you are, as a warehouse, running as smoothly and as efficiently as you can.
Definitely. All right. So what's the website where people can find more information?
HoneywellAIDC.com.
AIDC.com.
Yep.
Okay, definitely. We'll post more information on our blog as well, so you can see that there. James, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thanks for your time.
Today, and enjoy the rest of your show.
Thanks, you too.
Hey guys, it's Kevin Lawton with the New Warehouse Podcast. I'm here at ProMat 2019 in Chicago, and I am at the Newcastle Systems booth here, and I'm with Christine Wheeler, and she's going to tell us a little bit about Newcastle, what it is that they do, what products do they offer, and what are they showcasing here at ProMat. So Christine, welcome to the show. Thanks for talking with us.
Yeah, great. Thanks for coming over and learning about our product offering here.
Definitely, yeah. I've actually used Newcastle Systems before, and they work very well for me. So there
really,
you go.
Where was that?
At one of the distribution centers. So I'm actually a warehouse manager in my background. So
very cool.
So I've had employees who have used them. We've used them as mobile shipping stations for like our LTL shipments and stuff like that.
Okay.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about Newcastle Systems and what is it that you guys do?
Okay. Well, I think Newcastle Systems had some kind of humble beginnings back in 2005.
Okay.
It was our the founder is actually a really good friend of mine, and he just kind of had this, I want to say not really, a vision, but it was just something that he had seen probably more in the healthcare industry. So something with eliminating footsteps by keeping your hardware, your printers, your computers, software mobile. And, it was a conscious effort to kind of take it to an industrial environment, that being, warehousing, manufacturing floor. So essentially, in a nutshell, it's, process improvement through mobile power. And, what is that? It essentially eliminates those, those footsteps, going back and forth to static equipment. It's typically, as you know, Kevin, you probably saw it yourself. Maybe I'm assuming, and I could be wrong, but one of the reasons you probably purchased or, had those in, in your facility was to eliminate it
was part
that
of
movement,
our
that motion, costly motion.
Yeah, our efforts to go more lean, so reducing travel time and also flexibility, so that we can mobilize, and if we need to shift operation, we got a special project somewhere, we can take this wherever we need it to go.
Yep. So I think over the years, we've been talking to many customers, and I think based on our own kind of data and research, we've kind of estimated that it's roughly like 6 to 8 minutes an hour that in most warehouses there's wasted motion, basically walking back and forth. And the issue is it's not like they're walking miles. They could be 20 feet here, 30 feet there, 10 feet.
Yeah.
But
it adds up.
Yeah. And at the end of the year, you're looking at like, it could be, $5,000, but it's not really the $5,000. It's probably the 277 hours that equates. That's more powerful. That's almost 7 weeks a year.
Yeah.
Seriously. That you're literally paying someone to walk back and forth.
Definitely.
And I think, in this day and age with the, the labor crunch, you need to get more.
You need to maximize your time.
You need to, exactly. So that's essentially what we do. We try to improve labor capacity for warehouses and distribution centers.
Definitely. So why don't you talk to me about what you guys are showing here in the booth? So I see a couple different setups for workstations.
Sure. So again, we just kind of have a bunch of different flavors or form factors, but really what it is, it's a integrated power system.
Yeah.
And what we have here are some larger industrial lithium iron phosphate batteries that enable you to swap out.
Yeah.
So they're hot swappable.
I see they have like a handle on them, so they just pull out and then put back in.
Exactly.
Interesting.
So just pulling them out. You pull them out.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, Kevin, you're probably remember seal lead acid batteries. They're like 70 pounds. This is 11 pounds.
Yeah, it's a big difference, definitely.
Yeah.
So you can have some of these, like, I guess, charging in the meantime.
That's exactly what they would be. You can
I
see over
see.
there.
They have
there's a standalone charging area, so you can just charge and then go. So a lot of places now, especially 3PLs, doing e-commerce, they're like a 24/7 operation.
Yeah.
And this enables them to, at the end of the shift, just easily, swap them out. So really this power system. And then, like I said, just some different flavors, whether you need something that you need to put product on for packing. If you need something that is height adjust, ergonomics and safety, that's another big thing.
Definitely, yeah. So are these adjustable?
These are adjustable. Yep, this here is adjustable through the slotted mast there.
Okay.
But we also have one over here if you'd like to take a look.
Sure. So we're looking at a more
this one
scaled
here,
down. Yeah.
just taking into consideration that you want to keep your workers safe. You also too have workers that are 5 feet, that are 6'5", and you want to make sure that they're comfortable. They have it at the height that they need. So this one here, just at a touch of a button, you can just go up. You can go down.
I like that.
If you're working in an area that maybe you have to sit, you can take this down and sit.
Yeah.
It's also good for a like a supervisor station, getting them out of the office and getting them on the floor with their workers.
That's definitely a better way to be. I agree.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. So, I noticed that you have different configurations in terms of monitor size as well. So how customizable are these for your needs?
Yeah, they're very customizable. That was one of the other things, too, is we offer, I don't know, I want to say we probably have about 40 to 50 accessories that you could add on there. Really? So not only one monitor, say you need two, you need them stacked, you need them side by side.
Okay.
You have a large 45-inch monitor.
Yeah, they have one
we have monitor mounts that can hold up to 100 pounds.
Beautiful monitor.
What's that?
I said the one in the center of the booth has this beautiful monitor.
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
I wish that
That's
was
a really nice ELO monitor, and they, we also try to, work with ELO for their touch screens that they have as well, which are really useful.
Okay. So I do have to ask, you said you have a lot of accessories. Are there any cup holders?
Yes.
Yes, really?
Yeah. And my bad, I did not pack them up. They're really cool. They're just magnetic. They stick right on.
Cool.
And absolutely.
Yeah.
And some of the newer things that we're looking to do are making these carts kind of when a worker's with them, we want to kind of make it their own.
Yeah.
So we definitely will start. We've started putting in, USB ports.
Yeah.
Making it so they can. We would like to have it that the worker feels that that's their, that
their
it's
spot,
their work area. But
the
cup holders, I don't know why I forgot to bring those.
I love the cup holder stuff. I do see you didn't forget the chocolate chip cookies, and I'm a big chocolate chip cookie fan, so I'm going to take one of those.
You go for it, Kevin.
So what about, one of the big things in operations distribution is uptime, downtime. So what is the battery life like? I know that you guys have put in the solution where we can have batteries on hand charging, but what kind of life are we getting out of one set
We
of
have,
batteries?
We usually will configure the power system based on two things. We would always ask, what you're powering and for how long do you need to power it.
Okay.
So usually the goal is to at least get the 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
A lot of times you can get probably 12 hours. And like I had said, if you're going with the swappable system, you could swap it out in a second. So you literally could go, 24/7 if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of different flavors. Whether you're powering a large laser printer, which is a power hog,
Yes,
definitely.
Yeah.
To do in a really light application.
Yeah.
We also have standalone power systems. So maybe you have your own cart configuration or your own entity that you need mobble power. We offer that as well.
The power
Yep.
Okay. That's good to know. Interesting, definitely. So I see that this one right here has, so there's two batteries, right? But this one only has one in, so it's running off of just one?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
So that again is based off of what your power requirements are. So
got it.
Normally, we have you probably see this. This is kind of a beefy, battery, but still, manageable. Still as a petite lady would be able to lift this, no problem.
Yeah.
But so usually they can run their load off of one battery, which is, it makes it lighter. I mean, not that they're that heavy, but it also enables kind of the swappability.
Yeah.
So if you have a session going on, because some people with their software systems that they have, if this goes down, it could interfere with some of the transactions that are taking place. So this will enable it to be kind of hot swapped. So you would never, your computer system would never go down.
Really.
Yep. Yep.
Great to know. All right. Is there anything else we should know about Newcastle? How can people find out more information and get in touch with you guys?
Definitely the website. We have the website. It's newcastlesys.com. And lastly, I would like to say, too, for, warehouses and distribution centers that maybe, you're not tracking some of this important data. I mean, sometimes it's hard to, maybe to be able to justify process improvement. We do have a really cool motion meter app that's free to users, and you can kind of do your own process time studies on your own, just really quickly. We do it with, it's almost like it has a stopwatch. And it will basically, you just put in a few parameters like your average labor rate, how many hours per week, and it will tell you how much those wasted steps are costing you.
Wow, and
really
that's
quickly.
In the App Store?
That is at the App Store. It's iOS, so it is at the App Store.
Okay, great. We'll definitely post a link to that on our blog as well.
Cool.
I think that sounds like a great tool to use. So, Christine, thank you so much for talking to us on the New Warehouse podcast, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the program.
Awesome. Thanks, Kevin. Nice meeting you.
You've been listening to the New Warehouse podcast with Kevin Lawton. Subscribe and check us out online at thenewwarehouse.com.
Thank you for listening to this episode. If you want more content from the New Warehouse, check out our new video series called All Hands on LinkedIn. Just search for the New Warehouse on LinkedIn and follow along.